anybody else's phone does that before it starts to. Right. So here's the thing, right? I can either okay, so that's why it's coming over from that side. I'll explain the two options in a minute when I've built out these lanes. Never mind that. Let me do this one first. So yes, well no, they're just filling out, but just be building these memory buses for a little bit. It's pretty much the story of this computer, is just building memory buses. There we are. Now I need to do the other side. Right, so my mission is actually still memory buses to be filled in, gents. I'll explain the design after that. Do these ones. Oh, not again. Not a just yeah, it's lime wool, isn't it? So I'm just pissing all over the place. Excuse the phrase. Right, so here's the design. So this is my binary adder. It takes two 16-bit numbers and it adds them together, and it puts the output out the back here, along the back here, which I'll need to put memory buses in for as well. I'll do that later. But the question is, so here's the thing, right? Obviously, that over there is my RAM/hard drive. Essentially, it's a hard drive, but it's got random access, so it's a RAM as well. It's all the memory it's going to get. That's about 1.2 kilobytes of memory, most of it off screen. But the thing is, obviously, it can only do one read write at a time. So, and this takes two numbers as input, right? So you see the problem. Obviously, I have to have at least 16 bits of storage here. But I could either I have 16 bits or 32 bits, two sets of 16 bits. So if I have 16 bits, if I have 32 bits, obviously there will be an operator code telling it to load memory address whatever into the binary adder, right? And it will go into one of the 16 bits. And then there'll be another operating code that will tell it to load memory address whatever into the other one. And then the two will get added together, right? But it seems, whilst that's the sort of most robust way of doing it, that's also obviously a bit inefficient because you can probably just get away with having one 16-bit storage, and then when the second one comes in, that's when that triggers the addition. So in that case, I'll only need one 16-bit storage tower locally, and then I'll also need a 16-bit output storage tower out here, because when it's output, right, it'll need to get a there'll be another essentially there'll be another operator, there'll be another CPU logic circuit that will read from this and write it back to memory, basically. But yes, so I think, well, I pretty much come to the decision whilst doing those buses that I need to make it so that there's only one 16-bit registry. Yeah, this one's one wider, isn't it? And then it will just read write when it receives the second number. Rather, it'll just add when it receives the second number. But to do this, I'm going to go and copy paste one of my 16-bit memory addresses over here. So if you're new to my build, is a 16-bit memory address. So this here is a single bit stored in this little loop here, and this here is a memory controller. So this has a 4-bit address associated with it, and when that address is on, obviously that switches this on for reading or writing. It writes from this side, and it reads through this side, and then that's set up into these lanes here, right, which also have a 4-bit memory address associated with them here. And then that is further subdivided into these sets of lanes, which there are 3 of. So there's 2 more of these sets of lanes out that way, which you can't see. And they also have a 4-bit memory address associated with them. So it's got 16-bit numbers, a 12-bit memory address space, not fully utilized because it's only if it was fully utilized, there'd be 16 of these rather than 3 of them, or 3 of the big ones. But I just didn't want to start too big. Yes, this is the memory address controller for the big set, and then also there's a chunk loading system so that the system works whilst I'm not in the area. But anyway, the main thing here is that I'm going to be copy pasting this memory address, and I'm going to be using it as the storage for my binary adder over there. But the question is, which bits do I need to copy? Give me a second to think about this. So obviously what you've got at the bottom here is the control circuitry. So this basically tells, this here is all to switch it on or off, if it's the right memory address. And this here tells it this is the read signal, so this tells it it's being read from. And this is the write signal, so this tells it it's being written to. Well, specifically, actually, write signal overwrites what's in the memory address. So this turns on here, which switches this off here, basically. Yes, it switches that off there, and it switches this on here. Does it? Yes, because this is an AND gate, so basically it switches that off, which switches that on, basically. One of my early AND gates. Some of these gates are truly atrocious, like just some my logic gates were really bad when I got started. I mean, they still are, but so it needs to read write inputs, that's for sure. But it doesn't need the address controller. So if I copy paste it from this corner here, this little candlestick here, this little piggy, and then if I go, so that will be, yeah, you see it's going to get part of the address controller in it, but that's fine. I can prune it when I get to the other end. Given that it's going to be, so it's actually in line, it's actually in the correct orientation for that over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand here and copy it here. Before we go over there, though, I'm just going to give you a glimpse of the scale of this thing. This is the 16 of those guys. Slightly terrifying because flying along here can really break these. The loading and unloading process of Insta wires, right? if you shunt an insta-wire into an unloaded block, to an unloaded chunk rather, it breaks. That was an early nightmare I had to deal with. I think I came up with a system that was robust enough to, well, it should work. It should work while the system is turned on. It should work, but the problem is, while it's deactivated and I'm flying over it, loading chunks in manually, I'm not sure. So I'm running a big risk by doing this. But I'll look at the scale of this guy. And it is basically as quick to get memory out of the back there as it is to get memory out of the front there as well. So it's a pretty good system. Although it is reasonable, it takes like 2 seconds per read or write, so it's not exactly fast. Mainly because of all these repeaters here. Yes, and basically there's 3 more sets of these going back that way. Fly along in the back cave. There must be some way of turning entities off in Minecraft. All this litter lying around. An artifact of the copy paste process. If you unpaste something, or paste something into something else, it breaks it. It doesn't break it, it's just that it leaves lots of broken blocks on the ground. I need to make a backup copy of this world again. I've got one, but it's quite old. Right, so what was it? Standing on the edge of the... So if I put a block there. Ah, that is not what I intended at all. That's quite odd. So that's the read-write bit. Why has it done that? That's very odd. So it copy-pasted from there all along there, seemingly. Anyway, so what I need to do is I need to try again that. And then Perfect. Yes, so this is now our memory, our local register, I guess you'd call it, or cache or something. Embedded memory or some crap like that, who knows. I don't know, do I? One slightly unfortunate thing is that the read-write signal is on the wrong side, but well, I can redirect that fine. Like so. Yes. Right, so that's your local memory. Now I'm just going to take a minute to think about what needs to come next by putting some lime concrete powder down. This is what I'm generally using as the floor. Yes, I haven't quite got the whole thing uniform in terms of like colour scheme, so deal with it. So I'm using lime concrete powder inside the little sort of units, and then I'm filling up the outside with green concrete. Although I should probably actually use moss here. So it should probably be moss. This can just be off permanently. This is that's the overflow bit for the lowest number, which is obviously always 0, because it's not it's the lowest order number, so it's not doing anything below it. Right, so I'm going to need some kind of memory control unit. Well, not memory control, but some kind of local control unit that will basically tell. So it needs to signal the binary adder to load it from memory and then do the addition, right? So basically, I need a bit that flags if this register is full or not. If this register is full, the next number that is inserted will go into the adder over here, and there'll be an addition. If this is empty, the number will go into here. So basically, I need a split. So I need to redesign this. So I need to basically redesign this so it meets up in the middle here somewhere. And then I need to switch over there and tell it, and yes. It's going to be kind of ugly. Yeah, that's about to get very ugly, but never mind. This is why I am filling in manually rather than copy pasting the floor in. It gives me time to think. Yes. So yes, I'm going to fill it out around the edge here as well. Did film. Just get the surrounding apron built, basically. Well, I think. What's the neatest way to route those buses? Just cable management in Minecraft, basically. Yes, I've left a gap over here. Hate the idea of having a hole underneath it even if I can't see it. It's kind of funny. Yes, I might be slightly obsessive. I think that's fine, I think. Right, grass. Yes, so okay, so now that I've done that, this is where the build gets very ugly. Because you see, I need to have the controller over here, which means looping the buses around the outside, something like this. Oh, that's green sand, okay. Lime wool is what I need. Looping around like this. And I just don't think there's any way this is going to look nice. There's also another problem, which is that this obviously adds a huge amount of length, which is going to slow down propagating speeds unless I put InstaWire in here. I think I will put InstaWire in here, but that's going to look even uglier. It's going to look incredibly ugly. Maybe you can make the case that the ugliness is part of the charm, I don't know. But so I can fit the InstaWire repeaters in. I'm going to space these two apart, like this, so that the InstaWires can fit next to each other. You'll see I'll zigzag them backwards and forwards. So there's always room, basically. Although, now that I think about it, InstaWires can be sensitive to things like this, can't they? Let's see. Oh, hang on, I've really messed that up. Well, hardly, but you know, I'll double check it when I'm done. So that's yes, that's ugly, is what that is. It's like a communist block. um, get rid of these. Yes, that's wrong. Not sure what happened there. That looks right now. Feel the rain like an English summer. Hear the sound of a distant song. Stepping out like a backdrop poster. Wishing I would be so alone. We fade to grey. Sorry, it's raining. Excuse my singing. Right. Why did I extend the red one so far? Hang on. Right, so yes. I need to build a switching station here. So imagine, if you will, this. Redstone signal comes in here, and yes, so it'll need a switch tower on the outside there. If this switch tower is on, then the redstone signal cannot progress that way. And it gets written to that. Except it'll only get written to that, right, if this is on, which is why I don't need to turn anything else off here. So it's actually dead simple. One man on a lonely platform, one case sitting by his side. Feel the fear as it turns to hide. We fade to grey. Yeah, this is looking pretty neat. One thing it does need, though, is quickly fill in this corner here. One man on a lonely platform, one case sitting by his side. We fade to grey. Right. Back to this. Need to set this up, and I can. That's going to be annoying. Sudden intense frustration as I lost the ability to fly. It's like being in a dream. When you start flying in a dream, and then suddenly, like, you realise you're flying, and you're like, hang on a minute, I shouldn't be able to do that. And then you stop being able to fly. Oh God, right. Sorry, I'm getting quite a bad headache right now. Just looking at all these cables, making me feel sick. Motion sickness. There we are. So actually need to do the lower one as well. The presence of this lower wire does present a slight issue. See if you can spot the reason it's an issue. You probably won't be able to because you probably didn't have enough context, but if you're paying real close attention, you'll know why it's an issue that this lower wire is here. So I will explain in 3, 2, 1 explanation. So I'm going to need a signal to come up and write, essentially a signal that switches all of these on. Right, and that signal is going to be the same signal that switches all of these on, which means I need a signal that propagates across this lot. Problem is that the lower wire is there, so it's going to be need to route it round these guys basically. Or actually, I think because of the zigzag, it's fine. Like if this comes out here, I put a bridge there, and this comes out here. Just put a stagger in there. Or a second bridge there. Could be a little bit of a problem because it could be could make the timing of the repeater signals a bit odd, as in the spacing of them. So what I'm going to need is I'm going to need a glass step ladder. Those of you who don't know about Minecraft, the only way to get a redstone signal, well, there's a few ways to get a redstone signal straight up. But the simplest, least technical way is to use glass, because glass blocks allow essentially a ladder, whereas other blocks don't allow you to do a ladder, because the blocks cut the signal off in the corner. So yes, in a normal block you can't connect them between a gap like that, but in glass you can, which allows you to build ladders. There we are, and I need to obviously I'll need to put well, not obviously, but I will need to put relays in there because the signal won't be strong enough to get from the bottom to the top in one go. Put a repeater here. So I need to connect around like that. Yes, that's another thing. It can't go down the outside of it. So you see here, you would think it can go from that down there, right? But if it can't go down a glass block, it can only go up a glass block. Where does it cut off? Cuts off essentially here. So I need to add a pumping station. A redstone pumping station. And then that goes to here. Just make sure it turns off okay. Yes, turns off fine. Sometimes if you're careless with those, they can get into a loop with themselves. But yes, that works. That should work. Yeah, just let me extend these out a little bit so it's obvious what's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a repeater here, a redstone torch here, put a redstone torch, Right. Where was I? This layer. Oh, I thought that was a creeper. What was that? I'm not sure, but it sounded like a creeper. I mean, it must have been a bat, but yeah, it must have been a bat. Right. Sorry if I've been talking real quiet, by the way. And low energy. And the mic isn't near my mouth. Yes, it's the bat flapping its wings. Sounds like a creeper. Okay, so in the process of doing that, I've decided I'm going to make a change to the design. So originally I was planning to put Insta wires here. So I was going to put like big clunky Insta repeaters. Show you what they look like. So this is an Insta repeater, and what it is it does the same job as this redstone repeater. So it re-ups the signal strength of a redstone signal, but the redstone repeater has a built-in lag of 0.1 seconds, whereas the instant repeater uses essentially a glitch to get zero latency. So yeah, obviously imagine if there was 0.1 seconds for every one of those, that take minutes and minutes for anything to load. So why I've used instant repeaters. But so obviously the downside of instant repeaters is that, well, there's several. One is that they break if you're shunting them into a loading or unloading chunk. They break because they get out of sync with them, because they're made with sticky pistons. The blocks essentially get disassociated with the sticky piston if you're going into an unloaded chunk. Or a chunk, rather, it's a chunk that's specifically in the process of being loaded or unloaded. Well, specifically unloaded, I think. But either way, right. The point is that they're unreliable, and you have to be very careful with chunk loading. And the second point is that they are clumsy, they look ugly, and they're hard to build. But so I was going to put one like here and then do the same all the way down, right? Because obviously I don't want to put 0.1 seconds delay in. But whilst I was doing that, wire laying, it occurred to me that the actual hard limit here is how long it takes to get through here anyway. So like, it doesn't matter how. Basically, I could put several repeaters in here and it would still be slower than this side, or rather faster than this side, because there's like a load of circuitry in here that's got a trigger, right? So there's actually putting insta wires over here would not speed it up at all. So I may as well just put repeaters in. Because it's in parallel, the other side is slower, basically. I believe this is the first in parallel circuit of the computer. And on that note, it occurred to me the other day that I should really turn this into a GPU rather than a CPU. Given it's got a tiny instruction set and it's going to be very slow, I should have them all in parallel rather than I should build several dozen CPUs and put them all in parallel. Also, it then occurred to me that like probably it would be easier to make a neural network in Minecraft than like a regular computer, because a neural network is a lot more locality based, I think. So like essentially you'd be storing the weight locally, so there would be much less latency from signals being transferred over longer distances. I think that's an interesting idea. Maybe I'll do that when I've done the computer. Minecraft neural network. Ah, for crying out loud. I hate how punishing it can be. I also hate how long it takes for like the smoke to spawn on the redstone sometimes. This is Notch's perfect vision. Slow, unusable redstone. So let's just go put a repeater here on all of them. How nice this looks now, though. It's not nearly as ugly as I thought it would be. Oh, for crying out loud. Every time I try and make a fine adjustment to flying, it just switches the flying off. George is getting angry. It doesn't strictly need one, but for the sake of neatness, I'm going to include one. Now I need to consider the possibility that there might be a bug due to the asynchronicity in terms of timing of these being reached. So it might be cause a bug that this turns on before that. It shouldn't do though, not if I. It should only. Well, yeah, it should be fine, I think. But there's a small chance it'd be an issue because of the overflow bits being out of sync, maybe. It's worth considering, but I think it should be absolutely fine. But yeah, it is usually pretty robust, right? These basically, if you allow like a little bit, if you essentially have a little bit of delay in it, you can usually any bugs from like signals being not timed quite right usually just get usually completely irrelevant. If not always, well, not quite always, but usually always. Those are all on. Just verifying all the wires are wired correctly. So what I want to do now is I want to see this this memory unit currently has 111 stored in it, I think, which is convenient. Yes, it's 16. Oh, fuck off. It's just got sticky keys flashing up. And again, turn those off. So yes, what I actually need to do is switch on the read switch over here. So if I turn this on, this will tell the memory to output. So it turns on at the end here. Hang on. That one is missing its repeater. Is that a feature on all of them? Is this a bug in every single one of these? It must be, right? Unless I accidentally broke it earlier. I mean, I've thoroughly verified that these memories. Ah, yes. So actually, there's a few of them that, for whatever reason, they have the repeater there. I think I know why that is. I think it's because these further ones I wanted to. Yes, I know why it is, because I wanted to stretch out the range, right? I wanted to make it. I wanted to get the spacing correct so that it would require no excess repeaters and excess lag as a result. That's why I did that. So these guys need one. Why is that off? Why are you off? Oh, right, there's supposed to be. Okay, right, so that's probably because that's not close enough. If you put that there like that, it probably works. So that's the repeater there. Yes, it works if you have it one closer. But it doesn't help that. So I'll go over the other side there and do this. think that's all of them. So these outside ones are all lit up. These inside ones are all lit up. Yes. Now I just need to do some purification. Get rid of that for starters. If you put glass blocks in these, it helps as well. Makes it look more like a sandwich structure. Put some on this side as well. So that's some basics. First thing I need to do is expand the concrete apron a little bit out this side.